Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, A Spiritual User Manual for Life. This channel is dedicated to reading and unpacking the text section of the book, A Course in Miracles, because of the philosophical style it is written in. Many have difficulty comprehending it, having studied it for many years. I offer my understanding. As a Langnap, I include knowledge drawn from the Seth books of Jane Roberts. The Sparkly Edition version of the book is used. The videos follow the order of the text. This recording is on Chapter 1, Principles of Miracles. It is a long section. It gives 53 principles of miracles. To keep the video under 30 minutes, I've divided it into two parts, A and B. Part A is for 1 through 39. Part B is for 40 through 53. This is Part A. To distinguish between the text and my commentary, the word comments will precede the commentary. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Principles of Miracles, Part A. Number 1. There is no order of difficulty among miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They are all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. Number 2. Miracles as such do not matter. The only thing that matters is their source, which is far beyond human evaluation. Number 3. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. Number 4. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. Number 5. Miracles are habits and should be involuntary. They should not be under conscious control. Consciously selected miracles can be misguided. Number 6. Miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Number 7. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. Comments. There are many obstacles to the awareness of love's presence that must be removed from your mind. You'll be in for a surprise as you identify them. Number 8. Miracles are healing because they supply a lack in that they are performed by those who temporarily have more for those who temporarily have less. Number 9. Miracles are a kind of exchange. Like all expressions of love, which are always miraculous in the true sense, the exchange reverses the physical laws. They bring more love both to the giver and the receiver. Comments. Does it not feel good when you help someone or do a good deed? The giver and receiver both benefit. Number 10. The use of miracles as spectacles to induce belief is wrong, or better, is a misunderstanding. Number 11. Prayer is the medium of miracles. Prayer is the natural communication of the created with the Creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. Number 12. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent lower order or higher order reality. This is the basic distinction between intellectualizing and thinking. One makes the physical and the other creates the spiritual, and we believe in what we make or create. Comments. Here's an analogy to understand intellectualizing versus thinking. Take two individuals playing the piano. One is new to it, a rookie, has little knowledge of the instrument, little knowledge, if any, of music theory. Very few, maybe the mother or teacher, would be willing to listen to this individual play. However, with time, lots of practice, learning music theory, and loads of motivation, something melodious will begin to take shape. The second individual has been playing for quite some time and has developed some expertise, maybe to a pro or virtuoso level, has command of the instrument, is well versed in music theory and how to apply it. Many will come to hear this individual play. There might even be compositions to add to the vast library of music. Think of the contributions of notable musicians, some still with us and others long gone. What's the connection, you ask? Intellectualizing is using the mind, the intellect, without having a good grasp of the rules that govern it, nor what it should be used for, the rookie. Thinking is when you've developed some mastery of it, the pro or virtuoso. You then use it in creative ways for the benefit of all, maybe even put a smile on God's face. Note that the Course uses the verb make for the temporary or physical and create for the eternal or spiritual. Number 13. Miracles are both beginnings and endings. They thus alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present, and thus release the future. Number 14. Miracles bear witness to truth. They are convincing because they arise from conviction. Without conviction, they deteriorate into magic, which is mindless and therefore destructive, or rather, the uncreative use of mind. Comments. It is important to learn the truth about oneself, the mind, creation, and our purpose for being. Look around at all the individuals in the world making constructive, productive contributions to their communities, the world, and all of creation. They are committed in their beliefs and actions. The feedback they get from others inspires them to do more. When we lack that creative desire and direction to contribute to the greater good, it also shows usually in unproductive and destructive ways. There are numerous such examples throughout the world. Number 15. Each day should be devoted to miracles. The purpose of time is to enable man to learn to use it constructively. Time is thus a teaching device and a means to an end. It will cease when it is no longer useful in facilitating learning. Number 16. Miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating that it is more blessed to give than to receive. They simultaneously increase the strength of the giver and supply strength to the receiver. Number 17. Miracles are the transcendence of the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from a sense of lower order reality. That is why they heal. Number 18. A miracle is a service. It is the maximal service one individual can render another. It is a way of loving your neighbor as yourself. The doer recognizes his own and his neighbor's inestimable worth simultaneously. Number 19. Miracles make minds one in God. They depend on cooperation because the sonship is the sum of all the souls God created. Miracles therefore rest on the laws of eternity, not of time. Comments. Are the souls God created male, hence the term sonship? Seth states that gender is an attribute of the soul, which can manifest in a variety of ways in our physical selves. That being the case, the Course uses the male form for communication convenience only. Number 20. Miracles reawaken the awareness that the spirit, not the body, is the altar of truth. This is the recognition that leads to the healing power of the miracle. Comments. A very important truth. The spirit is our eternal essence of being, not the body which is only temporary, an aid for functioning in this physical dimension. Number 21. Miracles are natural expressions of total forgiveness. Through miracles, man accepts God's forgiveness by extending it to others. Number 22. Miracles are associated with fear only because of the fallacious belief that darkness can hide. Man believes that what he cannot see does not exist, and his physical eyes cannot see in the dark. This is a very primitive solution and has led to a denial of the spiritual eye. The escape from darkness involves two stages. The recognition that darkness cannot hide. This step usually entails fear. The recognition that there is nothing you want to hide, even if you could. This step brings escape from fear. Comments. An essential idea of this miracle is that of the spiritual eye. We are familiar with it by a variety of names: third eye, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, inner ego, higher self, guardian angel. It is the intermediary between us and our Creator. Becoming besties with it is highly recommended. Just between you, me, and the universe, you already are. You just forgot. Number 23. Miracles rearrange perception and place the levels of perception in true perspective. This heals at all levels because sickness comes from confusing the levels. When you have become willing to hide nothing, you will not only be willing to enter into communion, but will also understand peace and joy. Your commitment is not yet total, and that is why you still have more to learn than to teach. When your equilibrium stabilizes, you will be able to teach as much as you learn, which will give you the proper balance. Meanwhile, remember that no effort is wasted, for unless you remember this, you cannot avail yourselves of my efforts, which are limitless. Only eternity is real. Why not use the illusion of time constructively? Comments. The essential truth of this miracle is that we function on the physical, mental, and spiritual levels. The physical is temporary. It is a manifestation of the mental and spiritual levels. Most of us have confused this into the physical being the primary, with the mental and spiritual being subordinate. This confusion can lead to problems, which the Course refers to as sickness. One of the Course's objectives is to help us get this confusion corrected. This way we get back on track to fulfill our function and rise to our true potential. Number 24. Miracles enable man to heal the sick and raise the dead, because he made sickness and death himself and can abolish both. You are a miracle, capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator. Everything else is only your own nightmare and does not exist. Only the creations of light are real. Comment. God created the soul and the mind. We are learning to use the mind. Mistakes and misunderstandings are part of this process. Some of these show up as difficulties in the physical or body. Death is the end of one physical life, as we prepare for another. The better we understand these, the less there is to fear. Number 25. Miracles are part of an interlocking chain of forgiveness, which, when completed, is the atonement. This process works all the time, and in all the dimensions of time. I am in charge of the process of atonement, which I undertook to begin. When you offer a miracle unto any of my brothers, you do it unto yourself and me. The reason you come before me is that I do not need miracles for my own atonement, but I stand at the end in case you fail temporarily. The purpose of my part in the atonement is the canceling out of all lacks of love which men could not otherwise correct. The word sin should be changed to lack of love, because sin is a man-made word with threat connotations which he made up himself. No real threat is involved anywhere. Nothing is gained by frightening yourselves, and it is very destructive to do so. Comments. Another obstacle to love's awareness is the idea of sin. Man cannot sin. No one can. To do so would be to violate the laws of God. That, my brothers and sisters, is impossible. We can and do grossly misunderstand them with horrible consequences at times. These, however, are mistakes. We obviously make lots of them, which is expected. This is why forgiveness and the atonement are available and necessary, to heal the damage made, not created, by our mistakes. That's why Big Brother is always there to help us, just in case. Number 26. Miracles represent freedom from fear. Atoning really means undoing. The undoing of fear is an essential part of the atonement value of miracles. The purpose of the atonement is to restore everything to you, or rather, to restore it to your awareness. You were given everything when you were created, just as everyone was. When you have been restored to the recognition of your original state, you naturally become part of the atonement yourself. As you share my inability to tolerate lack of love in yourself and others, you must join the great crusade to correct it. The slogan for the crusade is, listen, learn, and do. Listen to my voice, learn to undo error, and do something to correct it. The power to work miracles belongs to you. I will provide the opportunities to do them, but you must be ready and willing, since you are already able. Doing them will bring conviction in the ability, since conviction really comes through accomplishment. The ability is the potential, the achievement is its expression, and the atonement is the purpose. Comments. Isn't it wonderful to know that we were given everything at our creation? So how come we experience poverty, lack, and confusion? I hear you asking. Well, we kind of forgot. Now we have to go around doing all sorts of crazy things to provide for our perceived needs. Just to remember this truth, minor correction or addendum if you will. We were given the tool that gives us everything. However, we have to learn to use it. Part of why we're here. Let's take our lessons seriously in the meantime. For one day the call will come for us to serve. Number 27. A miracle is a universal blessing from God through me to all my brothers. It is the privilege of the forgiven to forgive. The disciples were specifically told to be physicians of the Lord and to heal others. They were also told to heal themselves and were promised that I would never leave them or forsake them. Atonement is the natural profession of the children of God, because they have professed me. Heaven and earth shall pass away simply means that they will not continue to exist as separate states. My word, which is the resurrection and the light, shall not pass away, because light is eternal. You are the work of God, and his work is wholly lovable and wholly loving. This is how a man must think of himself in his heart, because this is what he is. Comments. As we continue on this journey, certain mileposts we will meet. One of them is that heaven and earth are the same location, or state of mind if you prefer. It is a level of spiritual awareness. We get there through learning, forgiveness, and atonement, and loving ourselves better than we like ourselves. Number 28. Miracles are a means of organizing different levels of consciousness. Miracles come from the below or subconscious level. Revelations come from the above or superconscious level. The conscious level is in between and reacts to either sub- or superconscious impulses in varying ratios. Consciousness is the level which engages in the world and is capable of responding to both. Having no impulses from itself and being primarily a mechanism for inducing response, it can be very wrong. Revelation induces complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear. It represents the original form of communication between God and his souls, involving an extremely personal sense of closeness to creation, which man tries to find in physical relationships. Physical closeness cannot achieve this. The subconscious impulses properly induce miracles, which are genuinely interpersonal and result in real closeness to others. This can be misunderstood by a personally willful consciousness as impulses toward physical gratification. Revelation unites souls directly with God. Miracles unite minds directly with each other. Neither emanates from consciousness, but both are experienced there. This is essential, since consciousness is the state which induces action, though it does not inspire it. Man is free to believe what he chooses, and what he does attests to what he believes. The deeper levels of the subconscious always contain the impulse to miracles, but man is free to fill its more superficial levels, which are closer to consciousness, with the impulses of this world, and to identify himself with them. This results in denying himself access to the miracle level underneath. In his actions, then, his relationships also become superficial, and miracle-inspired relating becomes impossible. Comments. We've elected the reincarnation process to grow our spiritual awareness. It is a physically oriented process that allows us to experience our thoughts, emotions, objectives, and will in a physical manner. One of the challenges inherent in this process is over-identifying with the physical self. This has led to all sorts of problems: racial, gender, sexual, etc. Seth refers to this as going native, forgetting that we are energy or spiritual beings having a physical experience. It is helpful to periodically remind ourselves of this truth. Number 29. Miracles are a way of earning release from fear. Revelation induces a state in which fear has already been abolished. Miracles are thus a means, and revelation is an end. Miracles do not depend on revelation, they induce it. Revelation is intensely personal and cannot actually be translated into conscious content at all. That is why any attempt to describe it in words is usually incomprehensible. Revelation induces only experience. Miracles, on the other hand, induce action. Miracles are more useful now because of their interpersonal nature. In this phase of learning, working miracles is more important because freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. Number 30. Miracles praise God through men. They praise God by honoring His creations, affirming their perfection. They heal because they deny body identification and affirm soul identification. By perceiving the Spirit, they adjust the levels and see them in proper alignment. This places the Spirit at the center, where souls can communicate directly. Number 31. Miracles should inspire gratitude, not awe. Man should thank God for what he really is. The children of God are very holy, and the miracle honors their holiness. God's creations never lose their holiness, although it can be hidden. The miracle uncovers it, and brings it into the light where it belongs. Holiness can never be really hidden in darkness, but man can deceive himself about it. This illusion makes him fearful because he knows in his heart it is an illusion, and he exerts enormous efforts to establish its reality. The miracle sets reality where it belongs. Eternal reality belongs only to the soul, and the miracle acknowledges only the truth. It thus dispels man's illusions about himself and puts him in communion with himself and God. Comments. This miracle is why we are eternally grateful to our Creator. For nothing that we can do or even think of will cause God to look at us in any way other than a holy creation. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation circulating as truth. One of the challenges before us is how to distinguish them from the truth. We need a criteria to help us in that effort. Giving us such is one of the objectives of A Course in Miracles. Number 32. Christ inspires all miracles, which are really intercessions. They intercede for man's holiness and make his perceptions holy. By placing him beyond the physical laws, they raise him into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, man is perfect. The soul never loses its communion with God. Only the mind needs atonement. The miracle joins in the atonement of Christ by placing the mind in the service of the Spirit. This establishes the proper function of the mind and corrects its errors. Comments. Further clarification of our structure. The soul is our true being. The mind serves it, and the body is an aid to facilitate this process. The mind is where learning occurs. It is only there that correction can and needs occur. Number 33. Miracles honor man, because he is lovable. They dispel illusions about him and perceive the light in him. They thus atone for his errors by freeing him from his own nightmares. They release him from a prison in which he has imprisoned himself, and by freeing his mind from illusions, they restore his sanity. Man's mind can be possessed by illusions, but his spirit is eternally free. If a mind perceives without love, it perceives an empty shell and is unaware of the spirit within it. But the atonement restores the soul to its proper place. The mind that serves the spirit is invulnerable. Comments. Another reason to be grateful. We do an excellent job of scaring the bejesus out of ourselves, without us being aware of or how it's done. We are being helped to get out of this hell we've made. Big Brother is forever on the lookout for us. Miracles are happening. Number 34. Miracles restore the mind to its fullness. By atoning for lack, they establish perfect protection. The strength of the soul leaves no room for intrusions. The forgiven are filled with the soul, and they forgive in return. It is the duty of the released to release their brothers. The forgiven are the means of atonement. Those released by Christ must join in releasing their brothers, for this is the plan of the atonement. Miracles are the way in which minds which serve the Spirit unite with Christ for the salvation or release of all God's creations. Number 35. Miracles are expressions of love, but it does not follow that they will always have observable effects. I am the only one who can perform miracles indiscriminately because I am the atonement. You have a role in the atonement which I will dictate to you. Ask me which miracles you should perform. This spares you exhaustion because you will act under direct communication. Number 36. Christ-controlled miracles are part of the atonement, but Christ's guidance is personal. The impersonal nature of miracles is an essential ingredient because this enables me to control their distribution. Christ's guidance leads to the highly personal experience of revelation. This is why it involves personal choice. A guide does not control, but he does direct, leaving the following up to you. Lead us not into temptation means guide us out of our own errors. Take up thy cross and follow me means recognize your errors and choose to abandon them by following my guidance. Remember that error cannot really threaten truth, which can always withstand it. Only the error is really vulnerable. You are free to establish your kingdom where you see fit, but the right choice is inevitable if you remember this. The soul is in a state of grace forever. Man's reality is only his soul. Therefore, man is in a state of grace forever. Atonement undoes all errors in this respect, and thus uproots the real source of fear. Whenever God's reassurances are experienced as threat, it is always because you are defending misplaced and misdirected loyalty. That is what projection always involves. Error is lack of love. When man projects this onto others, he does imprison them, but only to the extent that he reinforces errors they have already made. This makes them vulnerable to the distortions of others, since their own perception of themselves is distorted. The miracle worker can only bless, and thus undoes their distortions and frees them from prison. Comments. We're getting into deep waters here. I know from experience that we tend to see in others ideas we hold of ourselves. When we change those ideas of ourselves, we see others the same way. That being the case, we should strive to always look for the best in ourselves and others. We are mirrors to each other. Number 37. Miracles are examples of right thinking. Reality contact at all levels becomes strong and accurate, thus permitting correct delineation of intra- and interpersonal boundaries. As a result, the doer's perceptions are aligned with truth as God created it. Number 38. A miracle is a correction factor introduced into false thinking by me. It acts as a catalyst, shaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. This places man under the atonement principle, where his perception is healed. Until this has occurred, revelation of the divine order is impossible. Number 39. The spiritual eye is the mechanism of miracles, because what it perceives is true. It perceives both the creations of God and the creations of man. Among the creations of man, it can also separate the true from the false by its ability to perceive totally rather than selectively. It thus becomes the proper instrument for reality testing, which always involves the necessary distinction between the false and the true. End of Chapter 1. Principles of Miracles, Part A. We've covered the first 39 miracles of the 53 in this section. The remaining 14 will be covered in Part B. Many of the concepts they present are not only new, but radically different from our way of thinking. Some of them I offered commentary on where it seemed appropriate and helpful. Some individuals, especially those with deeply held religious beliefs, may have difficulty with them. As always, I recommend examining these ideas carefully. Put them to the test. Are they valid? Can they be verified? Truth be told, some of them being so new and different, we do not have the appropriate tools and awareness to properly evaluate them. This is understood and expected. This is a course meant to teach and train us. It would not be necessary if we, most of us that is, already knew this. Patience is my recommendation, members of the sonship and daughtership. Hope you join me for the next recording. Chapter 1. Principles of Miracles, Part B.